As the Stones are currently touring the U.S. on the new 2024 Hackney Diamonds Tour, things weren't so different back in 1975 when the Stones embarked on one of their most legendary tours of their career, the 1975 Tour of the Americas. Supporting the just-released album It's Only Rock and Roll, they went on the road adding two new musicians to the group, keyboardist Billy Preston and percussionist Ollie E. Brown. Together they would expand the Stones' sound and add a new dimension to the music. Ollie began as the drummer in Stevie Wonder's original Wonderlove band that went on to support the Stones on their legendary 1972 tour. Ollie would later join the Stones as a percussionist on the 1975 and 76 tours, and also playing percussion on the album Black and Blue. Beyond the Stones, as the duo Ollie and Jerry, they received an Academy Award nomination for the song Breakin', There's No Stopping Us, from the 1984 movie Breakin'. Stevie Wonder, Billy Preston, Diana Ross, The Temptations, Van Morrison, Sly Stone, his resume speaks for itself. Born in Detroit and living through Motown's golden period, I thought that was a great place to start my conversation with Mr. Ollie E. Brown. With all that amazing music coming out of Motown and the city, maybe could you give us a little sketch as to what it was like growing up there during that classic period, that classic time? It must have been just popping with music.
Everywhere you looked, there was someone doing music and etc. Like I was saying, I had my own band, and me and Ray Parker Jr., obviously, like my brother from another mother, we call it. You know, Ray lived downstairs and I lived upstairs, so they had duplex or whatever. And we had bands together. And when we would do park and recreation, they had these trucks that would pull up in the neighborhood where we could perform, man. I mean, that was great. So they would put up these trucks and open it up, and we would play our little songs, local bands and stuff. So we had entertainment. Then we had the Michigan State Fair, which my band joined in. They used to have a contest, which, yes, we turned out the show. And so we had, what else? I'm trying to think of the things like you said in Detroit. Obviously, we grew up with the Motown Review was a big thing that they had at the Fox Theater, and I was able to perform at the local club, which is called the 20 Grand at the time. And the 20 Grand had a house band, and the leader was Bohannon, and he was a drummer. However, it was his band that everyone would hire when they would come at town for Motown, pretty much. And Ray was in the band, and he asked me, did I want to play behind the Temptations or whoever, whenever they would do shows. So that's how I got to be heard through Stevie attending in the audience. You know, you never know how things and how people are going to hear you. So what I did was I was able to perform with different Motown acts then before I came out to California. It all happened with us being in Detroit, around music like crazy, doing local gigs. Then what happened, Ray got a call from Stevie Wonder when Stevie Wonder was the opening act for the Rolling Stones. And that led to Ray calling me when they lost the drummer in the middle of the tour. And Stevie was told about me, which he remembered, and they called me out. I never forget, I had to go all the way out to Mobile, Alabama. First time on the plane, black as can be, going to Alabama in the 70s. And so we actually had a show the next day of my audition that night. They had another musician, I've told this story before, come in from New York, and I was on the West Coast, and it was always West Coast musicians versus East Coast, and who's got the best, whatever. Anyway, make a long story short, they called us to perform to play with Stevie at a rehearsal hall. And they came up to my room and they said, Stevie wants you to come down. And I said, okay, I'll come down. He wanted to know, do you want to come after he hear the other guy or how you want to do it? Say, hey, it is what it is. Let's go. So they called me to come down. He asked me to get up, and then the other drummer played, and he took the other drummer outside. And I was like, oh, man, I didn't get the gig. But when Stevie came back in the room, he asked me to sit on the drums, and I never got up. That was nice. Superstition came out. That's how I got real popular with that, because Stevie would literally say, superstition, Ollie. And I would play, you know.
Yeah, because you kicked it off.
Yeah, I kicked it off all the time. And he would always do that with my name. So people associated me with that. Yeah, so that worked out good for me.
Superstition, Ollie.
And we have to remind people, I mean, you're what, about 19 years old around this time?
Yeah. I was 19 years old. Like I said, I had never even been on a plane. And like I said, we did all types of shows through the city, which was really good because it helped build my character with different artists.
My impression from his music is that his music is very meticulous and very, very carefully put together. So as a band leader, how was he? Was he a collaborator? Was he a taskmaster? Was he fun? Was he strict? Was he serious?
Yeah, not strict, but just a perfectionist. And always on his music, always. We literally had a road guy after each show. Even when it was this one night there, he would have the guy bring some equipment up to his room after each show. I never forget, I used to feel sorry for him because Stevie wanted his setup in his room. That's how much he loves the music. It was in his room. I would come by your room when Stevie was working on a song. I'll tell you a funny joke I always tell people. He would actually write a song. He's always writing songs. He would write a song, then he'd turn around and go, Ollie, let's let someone else hear this. So he would call him up and he said, I'm about to make a crazy song. And Stevie would display a crazy song. Someone would come in the room and they go, wow, that's great. And me and Stevie would be kicking each other like this. It's like, are you serious? We're just making some junk. Reveal what you was going to say. Yeah. He's a prankster too.
Is that right?
Yeah. You can, yeah. Well, I'll give you another one. I went to Stevie's room and I knocked on the door and he said, who is it? And I said, it's Ollie. And then he pulled the curtain up and looked through the window like this. I was laughing.
One of the things that I enjoyed learning about Mr. Wonder was that, he is a musician of the highest degree. Not only does he master his own keys, but he can play practically almost any instrument, right? I mean, he's a hell of a drummer himself.
Yeah, that's what we did on the show, actually, on some of the things. And I got used to it. Trying to think what song it was where he literally would switch with me and play. It made me a better drummer simply because he would very time sensitive. Like even Ray Charles, when they play, they always rock because they're keeping the beat. And people didn't understand that. Right. I did because I played with him. I won't tell you the really funny joke. I don't want to talk about it, but I never forget. I just say this. Ray Charles was on the show. I think it was the Johnny Carson show. And he was leaning every time he played, and he told the drummer right there on live on TV. He said, "Stay with me." In other words, don't speak the tempo. I was like, whoa, I'm used to that because Stevie would be on me about keeping the tempo good.
Yeah.
So how that worked for me, when I started doing interviews, I was able to, let's say, be steady as a rock.
Right.
For recording. Because when you're recording, that stays. It's on tape. It's recorded. When you're doing a live show, who's heard it, heard it. Who missed it, missed it. When you're doing a recording in the studio, that's going to be heard over and over and over. And I got tons of work when I started doing studio work because of my ability to play like a metronome. And that came from what I got from being with Stevie, always on me about it, being conscious of it.
Wow. Fantastic.
And we still talk today.
Do you?
Oh yeah, we're extremely close. He shocked me. This was a couple of years ago. I was at practice with my girls basketball team, and I got a phone call from Steve, and it came up on my phone. When he called to wish me a happy birthday, and he was out of the country.
Wow.
And I said, "Yeah, thank you, for calling." We talk for time, but for him to call me, all the people that's after him, and he speak to right on my birthday out of the country, I always mention that because that's how we are.
That's the kind of person he is.
Yeah, even when I had to leave Stevie, and I didn't want to go on the road no more because I didn't want to be on the clock because he paid me to be available, but Stevie called you in the middle of the night. He said, "Hey, let's go," because he likes to play. His sense of time is different. Mm-hmm. It's more how he feel. Mm-hmm. It'd be 8:00 in the morning, and he just not getting out of the studio. When he would do stuff for me, when I started producing records, and I produced the Toya Jackson's album, "If You Feel the Funk," that album. Stevie did a harmonica solo for me, but it took me all night and the morning to get it done because when I would come to the studio with him, he'll go, "Well, let's do it." And I go, "Okay." Then he get on the phone and start talking to someone. I'm looking at my clock going, "Come on, Stevie, let's put this on." But I said, "I'm going to stay here with my little tape and I'm going to get this harmonica solo." And that's when, I was a part of the original Wonderlove. And I had overheard that they were doing this thing for Stevie at this theater for his birthday. Mm. So when I got wind of it, I put together everybody that was in Wonderlove. When you're going to do that, and I don't get a call, it's like, how you going to do Wonderlove without talking to me or Ray?
Yeah.
We was Wonderlove.
Right.
So
oh man,
I hopped on the phone and I called the horn player, Steve Liddell, who was living at that time. I called Ray, Ray. I called Scott Edwards, who was the bass player, who's no longer with us. Lonnie Groves, who was a background singer, with Stevie. I got in touch with everybody. Lois Harvey. I found pretty much most of the people.
Wow.
And I'm like, how you gonna have Wonderlove and none of these people even know?
Right.
Only person missed was Lonnie, because she was in San Diego. But if I would have had time, because I did it last minute, because I wanted to be there for my boy's birthday.
Right.
And we ran down there. I forgot what song we played. He was so happy to hear all of us on stage again.
I bet. Before we go into the Stone stuff, I wonder if we can touch on one more beloved person in your career that you worked with, but the fabulous Billy Preston.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, man. He is absolutely beloved and one of my favorite guys, super unique, a one-of-a-kind, Did first off, did Stevie and Billy ever cross paths?
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
They're in the same neighborhood, in terms of what they're aiming to do musically. And I often wondered, do they ever, exchange chops?
I can't recall an incident in particular. Actually, Billy instigated the Stones for me. Billy brought up the fact that because Charlie had asked Billy, who played percussion on your records? And Billy had told them about me. For some reason they asked, I don't know what record they heard. Charlie had mentioned to Billy, do you think he would want to play percussion with us? And Billy said, yeah. And then when they called me, he said, well, Charlie didn't think I would want to do it. I said, are you crazy? I'll play whatever y'all want me to play. Anyway, that's how it came about. They didn't have, they didn't have a percussionist.
No, this is the first tour that they ever had a percussionist join them on stage. So that's a big deal.
Yeah. And like I said, I give credit to Billy instigating that because they heard me on his records and they recalled me as a drummer when I was with Stevie, when Stevie was opening. So they were familiar with me like that. And that was on Charlie bringing it up.
That's fantastic. Because that's one of my questions was, who was the person who actually said, we want Ollie? And to hear that Charlie was the instigator as well, working with Billy.
Him and Billy. And somehow, I don't know, but I know it was Billy already there.
Right.
And when I got the call to get with the Stones, me and Charlie was super tight. Nick would allow me to hang with him when he would go to New York, because when we rehearsed at an island called Montauk up in New York, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But that's where we rehearsed that time. And whenever he would go into town to do business, everybody else would be out asleep and stuff. But Mick is a business person, loves his music. He was really involved musically and on the business side. Like I said, he would wake up. Everybody else would be partying all night, still asleep. And Mick would be on a private jet to New York to handle business and come back and be right with us.
He was juggling a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. You have no idea. He's a hard worker. It's not fake.
I wonder if we could take a further trip down memory lane here. I got some pictures here that hopefully might jog some memories, but that is the group there in Montauk.
Yeah.
That's you there with everyone. Now, could you describe...
That's when we were rehearsing. With that rehearsing, I think they even had that particular picture. Look at Charlie got his hood on. I got my I used to call it my Jackson 5 Afro. Oh boy.
What was the scene like there? It was a beautiful kind of seaside house, wasn't it? Andy Warhol's house.
I don't know who it was, but we were, I think you said upper New York or whatever.
Long Island.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we rehearsed that time.
And how does this bring back memories? So this is the inside.
Okay. This is what I'm talking about. See how we all just sitting around playing? That's how we rehearse. We would just play. No one would say, okay, let's take a break and come back. All of a sudden, people would start be missing. Keith would go, just get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the song or what. Everybody would just break off. Mm-hmm. The next thing you know, we're on the break. Then we'll come back and I'll be playing on the piano or something and just mess around. We get all on the instruments and it'll start back up again. It wasn't, structured like that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you'll hear the piano stop because Billy went to the restaurant or whatever. Uh-huh. And all of a sudden you might not see no bass because he wanted to go take a smoke. And next thing you know, we didn't stop. Then people would just come in whenever they wanted to come back. There was like, okay, get set. It's time to get back to rehearsal. No,
Very loose.
we were playing. I wish I could think of what song. I'm just trying to look at people's face.
I know. Where were you situated in this arrangement? Where would you be? I don't think you're photographed here.
See where you see Bill Wyman?
Yeah.
I was probably on the other side of that or the left side of Billy in that particular picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once we got started, set-wise, I was always behind Charlie so we can talk.
So is that true that the reports were that, these, once you would start, the instruments would be turned on, it'd be about 6-7 hours, give or take, of playing in and out of songs and stuff like that, keeping it loose? Yeah.
Over and over and fun.
Is that right?
That's all I tell people. People complain about rehearsing and stuff. I say, all your great artists, when I speak at seminars and talk to musicians and stuff, I say, you think it's just Michael lucky? No, Michael works. Mick Jagger, like I told you, he goes to the meetings, come back to rehearse. He had a trainer that was on tour with us, so he can be in shape to give people a 2-hour show. I'm telling you, we rehearsed so much in fun, not in like, oh, here we go. No one was mad. We loved our instruments, and we would just play like that. And what happened was, after we rehearsed so intensely, having fun, you love it. When we did that 2-hour show, it felt like, where did that go? It was a piece of cake.
And in this case, when you were here with the Stones, what was the goal if you were to repeat the songs? Was it because, it's just not feeling right, or we missed a cue? Was it all of the above?
It wasn't even like that. It was just more of playing until we felt that it was right. Mm-hmm. No one really said, oh, no. We were just playing the song.
Right.
And when you lock it, you just keep playing it over and over, and you're not adding things. It looked like to me, Billy and Mick was having a conversation about something. Because you can see by everyone's head and where their hands are placed and stuff. You can see that we were playing when this picture was taken. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a closed picture.
Right.
Mick is talking to Billy about something and everybody else is playing. And that's why I'm thinking I probably was on the left side if I was there even. I could have been out on my break. No.
I think this is the other side of the room, right? So this is like the living, the couch and like the hangout area.
Yeah, boy, those were some fun days, man. You got some good pictures. What? I have nothing but good memories. The way they treated me from day one, how close we got. Like I said, how close me and Charlie got. Hearing interviews from them, like you had mentioned, Keith. Keith would always bring up the fact that I paid attention to his son that came out on the road. I had this motorboat that one of the roadies built a cage for me so I could travel with it that goes in the lake. And I took Keith's son to the lake with me, and we played with my remote control boat in the water, and he got a blast out of it. Keith brought it up. And in one of his interviews, he brought up the fact that he liked the flavor that I brought to the Stones stuff by adding me to the mix. And I said, my memories with them is we just went to kill. I said, when we went on stage, we was ready to knock you off. Like I said, that 2-hour show felt like nothing.
Well, that brings us to some pictures from the tours. And
that's we were doing probably You Got to Move.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I know, because I remember And again, that was spontaneous to come up to all of us join in and sing that groove. Then I got involved because I was normally way in the back.
Right.
And so I grabbed the tambourine and got on the mic and made it more of a group singing, "You got to." I mean,
Right.
that's the magic that comes from doing it over and over. Each night, believe it or not, you might get something different.
You got to move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. Oh, when love get ready, you gotta move. You may be high, you may be low, you may be rich, child, you may be poor. Oh, when love get ready, you gotta move.
What I love about You Gotta Move is that it's a fantastic way to change the dynamics of the show because it really focuses the show to a smaller sound, more
It
intimate.
slows it down.
Yeah.
Because it was high energy.
Because when you guys sung You Gotta Move, it was like a small little choir to me. And it was just a very...
It just happened. I'm telling you, it just happened. We did not do that at rehearsal.
Wow. So that came about once you started performing on stage.
On stage. And it was, I think it was maybe Mick and Keith, if that. But we just decided we're going to get up and just break it down.
Fantastic. And then
that's the magical thing is that you can't plan it. It won't even come off right there. That came off because we came up and joined Mick singing it after we broke it down. You know, if you hear the tape, it got to that point where it started here at this level.
Right.
Like you said, then we toned it down. Next thing you know, I'm leaving the percussion back there because I wasn't doing them, but using my tambourine. And then
I love it.
It almost kind of like when you hear people do music and it becomes a cappella.
Right. And the Stones actually performed You Gotta Move a few times in about 2015. They brought it back into their set, but it's much more close to their original studio arrangement that they had on another album, Sticky Fingers. So they didn't do this small choir kind of a cappella thing. And man, I tell you, I missed it. Like you guys really hit it.
It's not like what we did.
Mm-mm.
I mean, like that's one of a kind. I'm glad, like you said, when we were talking, I'm glad to be a part of that moment in the Stones' history. And so it makes it good when you can add to greatness. You know, they've always been a hot band anyway. And then when you be a part of taking it to another level, in other words, and then have people like you say they appreciate that level, then that's what make them so historical, and they can continue to build because they continue to grow.
What are your thoughts when you see that?
Same thing. You know, it comes together. Obviously, you can't practice that at the interview studio. You know, somehow, I think in this, Mick created the whole thing, obviously, and I decided I would be the one to help him because it was heavy to do that. Again, it wasn't, okay, we got this dragon, we're going to blow confetti, and Ollie, you're going to come up and help me with it. No.
Wow.
Like, you saw that it was going to happen, and who was free to even do that. And next thing you know, you are doing it all the time. And that was fun watching people get sprayed because they always had a bunch of tricks in the bag when we would do shows.
And this was the tour also where Mick, at the end of Billy's set, at the end of That's Life, he would get on this rope and he would hang above the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah. All those things, those work, yeah.
I mean, you guys seem to have really gotten close during this period, right? I mean, as a group, it became a unit.
Big time.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me tell you about that one.
Yeah, El Macambo.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. What happened, that was so funny. Because, when you grow up, you think about success and what you see. And I never forget saying to myself, God, man, I'm with a group. Because you always like the lights and stuff when you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to a place where you not expect things, but it's things that you see happen to the celebrities. And one of the things I thought was always cool as a little young boy or whatever, seeing limousines. If you rode in a limousine, you had a driver, you're happening. And I never forget saying to myself, I would get in a group that's so big that it was dangerous to be in the limousine. So when we did that show, which was unannounced,
right,
it was a radio giveaway to people that got there, and they didn't know until they got there and hopped on that phone. Because when we left, it was a ton of people, but we had to leave in a meat truck. You can't get in the limo.
Too obvious.
Right.
Yeah.
So we would put our family and friends in there, but we left in the disguised truck or whatever. And I went,
hilarious.
I didn't get to get in my limo that week.
Well, the next best thing, you can never forget being in a meat truck, escaping.
That was a good set though, because
yeah,
they wanted to tone down after coming from such a massive big show. So our deal was to make it intimate.
And who's that on your shoulders?
Who did I say I took to the lake?
Keith's son. Is that Marlon back there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And see Keith right next to us?
Right.
That was my little buddy.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And now you got to send me that, man.
Of course I will. I'll send it to you.
That was my little buddy. And we had fun. And like I said, I didn't think nothing of it because that's just how I am with kids. I got 2 grandkids now.
Do you remember this? This is you guys at the Alamo.
Yeah, that was in Texas.
Yeah. I mean, this is a funky picture.
Yeah.
You guys at the Alamo, it kind of worked out. It's a very iconic shot.
Me and Billy, it's so funny because it reminds me of the days of the Afro.
No, Mick, I remember Mick once making fun of Billy because he would say that Billy had a lot of wigs and stuff. But was that Mick just being a jerk, or that was all Billy right there with the hair?
That's him.
Yeah. And then we've got some shots that I don't know if you've seen before, maybe you haven't seen in a while, but my understanding was that when the tour stopped over in Detroit, the guys came over.
That's my Wally.
That's it. So this is everyone coming over for dinner, right?
Yep. We had spaghetti and meatballs. I remember. Because I remember this big old bus coming down this little bitty street and everybody hopped out. And that was my house too.
Oh my God.
My mom, she used to, Quincy Jones, you name it. Any entertainer came, even if they wasn't with me before she passed, they would call her up and hook her up with tickets and invite you name it.
That's wonderful.
They loved my mama. Well, she was the birth of me loving music because she just loved music. She would go places with me because she looked so young, and people would, girls in particular, would think she was my girlfriend. I used to tell her mom, "Don't hold on to me too tight. I can't get no action." I'm thinking you my girlfriend. Oh yeah,
That's hilarious. It must have
that
been
was the one that was in Detroit.
that was in Detroit. There's another group shot of everyone.
See, there's Ray. in that
Yeah.
shot.
Oh, fantastic. So he came by.
Yeah. He came through the show.
This is the house you grew up in?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
And
That's
I'm
great.
telling you, maybe 900 square. I mean, small. I don't know, like you say, I don't know how we did it. Because it was, I didn't live in a big old mansion, 5 bedrooms and stuff. Let's see, let me try to remember. Maybe a 3-bedroom house in Detroit. Oh, boy.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad that Ray got a chance to connect with the Stones here, too. That's nice.
Yeah, because he was, again, instrumental from, see, that whole period of Stevie. Because me and Ray, and still today, we were brothers. Well, we were thought we were brothers. We hung together so tight. Music-wise, too. All our success, what I shared with you since we've been ahead of you, came at the same time. Ray, I'm just really fast forward. Ray jumped off with Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
I jumped off with the Breaking movie.
Right. Right. That was a big one.
And Stevie had Woman in Red. So all of us was nominated except for me. I'm so mad about it. Why do you think I wasn't nominated to get that would have been an Oscar for Best Soundtrack?
That's amazing that all three of you were also big in the movies as well with music too.
And what happened was, and I don't mind saying it, but I won't go there. I don't like it. But anyway, the film company that made the movie wasn't a signatory of the union. So I didn't, my dog on record, because I think I would have gotten it. Because my timing is everything when you release. Yeah. My stuff was already blasting up the chart. Then Ghostbusters and Woman in Red, we all were around the same time. However, I had big sales before they did. I got called. How did I get called? I got called to do, and you can look this up, The Real Ghostbusters.
Oh, wow.
I did the cartoon show.
Sure. Yeah.
For The Real Ghostbusters. I produced the music on it.
Is that right?
I was sitting in a meeting, and of course I knew what Ghostbusters was. And they were talking about using Ray's song in the Ghostbusters movie. And they hadn't even spoken to him yet. And I called her Ray. I said, guess what you got coming? I'm sitting there meeting, and sure enough, they called him saying, we're thinking about using your music in this cartoon series. I recorded all the stuff over.
I see.
The theme song that they used was already owned by Arista or whatever, and Ray.
I see.
And so what happened was, it said, Ray called me over and said, I said, man, I already know. I was in the meeting when they were playing their pitch reel, if you want to say, to even get it going. I said, just lay low. They'll come after you.
I love how you guys were kind of working together. That's how close you guys were.
Always.
That's nice. Looking out for each other.
His mother, who's not with us, she said, if Ray is on the show and they got a drummer, he's in trouble. And if Ollie is on the show and they got a guitar player, they in trouble, because they're going to get each other on the gig.
Right.
And we did. I got a chance to play with my hero, which was Sly Stone.
Oh, my God.
That was my hero. He's another one like Stevie. He would call you in the middle of the night saying, Ollie, I got this idea. Oh, matter of fact, since you brought it up, me, Sly, And Billy Preston got some stuff like you was talking about something. We were in the studio doing some stuff that y'all would love.
Oh my
I
God.
have no idea how to even get it.
Because I was going to ask if Billy, Sly, and yourself also crossed paths. And my,
We all got together one crazy night, and we were in the studio, Paramount Recording Studio. I remember the studio. I remember it being like after midnight. I'll tell you that for sure.
oh,
We're in there just killing.
well, was there someone recording? There was an engineer also hitting
Oh
record.
yeah, oh yeah. We were in the studio. So I said, "Come down,"
Oh,
and I did.
that would be an amazing find if someone were to find those tapes. Well, Ollie, this was an absolute thrill. I can't say enough how thankful I am we got to chat. So, again, want to thank you for all the contributions in music and for sitting down and chatting with us today. So thank you, Ollie.
You're welcome. Thank you, all the fans that have admired my playing. It was a pleasure to be a part of your life, whether it was from my breaking movie and my breakdance days, and if it was being a performer behind one of your favorite artists. I have enjoyed and I'm still enjoying my life of music.